like to share with you this week's Parshas, וזאת, הברכה, something very beautiful from the Rabbi Levi Yitzchok, the Rebbe's father, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. This week's Parshas, we have a famous pasuk, Torah tziva lonu Moshe me'rosha kehilas Yanker. This is the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu commanded us, gave us over. It's an inheritance for the congregation of Yaakov. There are too many questions in this pasuk. The pasuk starts off with Moshe, finishes with Yaakov. What's the meaning of this? Why these two names? Of course Moshe, but what does Yaakov come in over here? And also, why does it say Moirosha in a inheritance? What's the meaning of that for Yaakov? Explains Rabbi Levi Yitzchok. The Rizal brings down on this pasuk that the Torah is referring to two levels of Torah. There is the level of Moshe of Torah, and there is the level of Yaakov. The Rizal doesn't explain clearly or on our level what it means, but the Rebbe's father explains very beautiful and practical terms what does the Rizal mean. We find in the Chumash, and everything you see is so exact, there's nothing that's doesn't have a deeper meaning in the Torah. If the Torah calls something or somebody with a name, it has a reason and a message. We find in the Torah that many times in Tanakh we call Yaakov the Katan, the smaller one. In Parshas told us we have Rivka called her son Beno HaKatan, the younger, the smaller son, but uses the word terminology of Katan. We find a pasuk in almost Perek Zayin, pasuk Beis, it says, Mi yokum Yaakov ki Katan hu. How will Yaakov be able to stand up, to survive? He's like so small, Katan. So we see also the name Yaakov has Katan. Moshe Rabbeinu, on the other hand, we see in the Torah he's called the Godel. Parshas Shemot says, Vayigdal Moshe. Moshe became great. And also, in Parshas Boy, it says that Gam says Moshe Rabbeinu became big, great. Godel Ma'oid be'enei be'eretz Mitzrayim, in the land of Mitzrayim. So it says also Godel. Explains Rabbi Levi Yitzchok. This is referring to two levels of Torah. We have the level of Torah which is called Nigla the Torah, the revealed part of Torah. And that deals with how a person should get involved in the physical world, all the halachas, which is Hamas, the action, how a person elevates and refines this physical world. That's what the Gemara, Mishnayos, Halacha tells you. The mechanism of Judaism from morning to night, from the when a child is born till Chas v'Shalom passes away, how a person should conduct himself in ma'aseh, in action. And that's Koton, that's the lower level of Torah. Then you have the level of Moshe, the higher level of Torah, Godel. We spoke about last week what the Gemara says in Sukkah, Tafchav Ches, Tov Koton, Avius Tabai Verova. The Gemara, that's the lower level. The higher level, the deeper level is Chasidus, Pnimis HaTorah, Tov Godel. And this is what the pasuk is telling you, two things. Hashem says, this Torah that I gave you has two parts. This is the level of Moshe, the Godel, the Pnimis HaTorah, and also there's the level of Yaakov. Now, our job is to bring godliness into the world. And there's a lot of hidden sparks, nitzutzos, that are Hashem clothed himself in this physical world. When we do a mitzvah, we elevate the world, we reveal that spark. And that's when we will have Meirosha, that's when we will inherit the world, we will bring Mashiach into the world. But the only way we can do it is we have to come to the level of Yaakov. That's why over there it says Meirosha. The part of Hamased doing the action, that's what brings us to Meirosha. But in order for us to do the mitzvahs properly, you also have to have the level of Moshe. And with this, the Rebbe, his father, explains a beautiful mashal. Let's say a person eats, so you have meat, steak, but then if it's dry, okay, you eat it, doesn't taste good. But then if you add salt, then it gives a time, it gives an enjoyment, it gives a feeling and a an appetite and an enjoyment to the eating of it. Same thing is also with Torah. A person could do mitzvahs, but he could do it very coldly. And that's the lower level, that's katan, even though he's doing it. But in order to have a chayis, a geschmack, a tam in the mitzvah, an enjoyment, you have to have the godol, you have to have the chassidus. That's the melach, that's the salt that gives life and enjoyment and taste into the basar, into the halacha. And that's why so the main course is, of course, the meat, which means the action. You have to do a ma'asu ikeh. That's the merusha. That's how you're going to conquer the world and inherit the world. But in order to have it, you have to have the level of Moshe, which is the pnimis haTorah, the godol. And this is the meaning of the pasuk. Torah, this Torah that I gave you, there's two parts. There's Torah, which is Tzivilon and Moshe. This is the level of the godol, the Moshe, the higher level, the pnimis haTorah. And Rasha Kehilas Yaakov, through the level of Yaakov. Yaakov also means Akev, coming down into the heel, the lower level of the world. When you will elevate that, that's when you'll have the true Rasha. But in order for us to do the mitzvahs the way Hashem wants us to do, with feeling and enjoyment and involvement of our whole being, dedicated to it, complete with our whole heart and soul, that you need the melech, you need the level of Moshe. And together we will have the complete Torah, the nigla the Torah, and the pnimius Torah.